Hello, I'm back again for this is video number 4. I'm starting on page 42. I just went to go check on my grandson. That's why I had to pause it, but I'm going to continue here. Snakes, woodpeckers, and burps. As Kenyani said, I am in fact fluent in human. If you're wondering how I can understand people so well, it's simple. I spend a lot of time listening to them. Whether I wanted to or not, I started by learning to differentiate sounds. S's are slithering snakes. T's are woodpeckers at work. B's are baby burps. I studied body language too. Frowns occur when human faces seems to melt like beeswax in the sun. Smiles can be kind or sinister, welcoming or devious. Tears mean sadness, but they can also mean joy. And I believe we talked about that in class. We have tears of sadness if a person passes away, or our favorite beloved animal, or tears of joy when a baby is born, like my grandson Anthony, or at a wedding. It's amazing that people can even understand each other. It must be exhausting being human. Gorillas rule. I would argue that gorillas, of all the great apes, have managed to come up with the most efficient communication system. Yes, we vocalize, but not to excess. Not like humans, frantically buzzing like an overturned nest of hornets. I can say more with a carefully nuanced grunt than the average human can say with 1,000 words. With a jut of my chin, a straightening of my shoulders, a half step forward, I can silence a whole troop. With a chest beat, I can subdue an entire jungle. I am lucky indeed to be a gorilla and not a human, or heaven forbid, a chimp. Talk about obnoxiously chatty. I'm just going to pull back the page there with an ear mark, so I know that's where I started. Picking your battles. 151 days have passed since the moment I found out I'm going to be a dad. It's funny how he's counting the days. The wind has warmed. The sun is growing bolder. Tulips and daffodils are nosing their way into the world. Kenyani gets grumpier as the days progress, or as the days go by. She says she feels like she's followed a jittery squirrel. She says this baby gorilla is already testing her patience. She says she is not enjoying motherhood so far. Thank you very much. I try to be helpful. I assemble her night nest for her, but no matter how much I line them with the sweetest grass and softest leaves I can find, she still tosses and turns. I bestow my favorite treats upon her because she is always longing for something to eat. Yesterday, I gave her all my yogurt raisins. Well, I may have saved 1 or 2 for myself. I love how in this book, just like in the other book, the character's humor really comes out. Kenyani has always enjoyed a spirited debate, but lately if I say, the sky is blue, she will reply, it could not be more gray if it tried, and her eyes will dare me to argue. Silverbacks know how to pick their battles, which is another way of saying, I know when to keep my mouth shut. So here they are here, and you can really tell the wind is picking up. My cup is about to blow there, and you can see my hair's blowing, so hopefully you're using your inferring skills to see that the wind's blowing here in Pennsylvania, but it feels so lovely. So he's saying he knows when to be quiet. Mostly, anyway. This morning I asked Kenyani if she had any idea when the baby would be arriving. Big mistake. I'll be sure to keep you posted, Ivan, she said, her voice as tart as a lemon peel. And I knew I would never be asking that particular question again. Now, you notice how I emphasize the word that? What do you think the word that is in? Hopefully you're not forgetting the things I've taught you, boys and girls. I'm going to use some think time. And hopefully you're thinking it must be in italics or in italicized print. And if you did think that, kiss your brain. If not, get it back in your head and don't forget it next year. Things we should know. Not for the first time, I'm wishing my troop were larger. Right now, it's just the 2 of us, Kenyani and me. Not much of a troop at all, to be honest. When I originally arrived at the park, there were already a few gorillas here. Several females, 2 blackbacks, those are the young guys, and a bunch of juveniles and infants. No silverback, though. That's where I came in. Everything changed when a tornado tore through the park and destroyed many of the habitats. Gorilla World was particularly hard hit. In fact, I spent a bit of time buried under the rubble, but I emerged, which means he came out, unscathed, which means unharmed. Gorillas are nothing if not tough. One good thing came out of the storm's chaos. Most of the animal habitats are being enlarged or made bigger. All day long, workers fill the air with the smells of sawdust and sweat. The gorilla villa, as Bob calls it, a protected and private pavilion that's safe from the rain and sun, has been completely rebuilt. While that happened, Kenyani and I were given our own special, small area to live in. The remaining gorillas were moved to other facilities. I'm not sure why Kenyani and I got to stay behind. I suppose it's because silverbacks are quite popular with human visitors. Where the rest of my troop went is anyone's guess. Other zoos and sanctuaries, no doubt. I'm the silverback. I should know. My father's troop had 10 gorillas in it. Mine has 2. As a result, Kenyani doesn't have anyone to help her through this complicated time. Well, she has lots of humans, yes. The vet comes every day, and the keepers are as watchful as ever. And of course, I'm doing my best to help. But in the wild, there would be aunts and grandmothers and other females, to explain how this whole parenting thing works. They would know what to give Kenyani to make her tummy feel better. They would soothe her worries. They would understand exactly what to do and when, because they'd been through it themselves. Wish I could be more useful. But I suppose all I can do is make nest and share yogurt raisins and hope this little one arrives sooner rather than later. One thing Kenyani does recall learning, back when we had other females around, it takes 8.5 months for a gorilla to be born. That's a whole lot of waiting, I almost said to her. See how he almost said it to her. He is very cautious in what he says. I'm not entirely sure why we gorillas are so popular here at the park. We don't preen like flamingos. Remember, we talked about that before. Preening is when they kind of like smooth out and fix their feathers. Or, I'm not sure how to even say this, pirouette like seals, or make ridiculous, relentless fools of ourselves like chimps. Mostly I just sit and stare, and the humans stare back. What do they see when they look at me? Are they jealous of my strength, so much greater than theirs? Of my fur, while they shiver in the silly clothing meant to harm, to hide their hairlessness? Do they long to be wild, the way I was once, long ago, wild? Their fascination seems to have something to do with my eyes. When I'm close to the glass, often a human, usually a child, will sit perfectly still and meet my gaze. Their eyes are my eyes, thoughtful and curious and uncomfortable, wondering perhaps why nature is so complicated, wondering perhaps as I often do, while humans are on one side of the glass and I am on the other. And here's a picture here. I apologize, I am making a few mistakes. Maybe I'm reading too fast. Remember, sometimes we make mistakes when we're reading too fast, so just be careful with that. So we're going to stop there on page 51, and I do look forward to seeing you next time. Again, I do hope you're enjoying your summer. Today, I think, is June 8th. I don't really keep track of the days in the summer. I just know that every day ends in Y, and the only days I need to worry about are the days that I tutor on Monday and Tuesday. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Miss you.